Welcome back everyone and welcome to episode 4. We have now covered knockdown shields, body shields, backpacks, and helmets in episode 1, heat shields, respawn beacons, healing items, and their ring in episode 2, weapons and weapon attachments in episode 3, and this episode will focus on the free legends and ultimate accelerants. Let's dive in. This episode will not feature any gameplay specific to these legends that we are talking about in order to get this info out to you on time for the first day of this drop. We will do legend requests on stream, so if there's a legend that you would like me to play and you want to know more about them, we will be doing that live on Twitch, but for the most part we will be playing Bangalore. I originally learned this game on Pathfinder back on day 1, and Pathfinder has gone through many nerfs that, in my opinion, make him a shadow of what he once was, and very difficult to use for me. So I am going to be relearning the game on a brand new account as Bangalore to help make up for some of the things that I learned as bad habits having learned the game from Pathfinder and Octane. Jumping into the content here, first up is the ultimate accelerant. What the hell is it and how does it help? Well, first up, each legend has 2 abilities on cooldowns, their tactical and their ultimate. They also have at least one ability called a passive that works by doing absolutely nothing. Ultimate accelerants will reduce the time it takes for your ultimate ability to begin by 35%. Unless you're a Loba, then it will only recharge 20%. If you're Watson, then one ultimate accelerant will recharge her entire ultimate, and she can also stack ultimate accelerants in stacks of 2 instead of just 1. All of the legends get their cooldown at different rates, but they tend to range from about 1 to 6 minutes. And some legends like Watson and Rampart can have multiple ultimates out at the same time, and others allow for tactical advantages or just deal damage. So now we're going to hop into the free legends and what they do. Now keep in mind that mobility legends are the meta, and it takes a lot of weapon skill to allow other legends to succeed. Mobility legends are Octane, Horizon, and Valkyrie. Unfortunately, all of these legends are locked behind either a $7.50 paywall or dozens of hours of game time. If you want a budget mobility legend, then stick with Pathfinder. He's the closest you're going to get for free, but he is still behind all the other legends. Now, the reason mobility legends are in the meta is because of how versatile they can be and how easily they can overtake or change positions on other legends that are just basically stuck where they are, especially out in the open. This does not mean that other legends can't perform well, it just means that if you're not using a mobility legend, you will have to strategize a lot more than your enemy, and it's going to take a lot of practice to get good at those strategies. But first up in the free-to-play legends is Bloodhound, and Bloodhound is a recon class, meaning that he can find out the next ring location by using certain devices called survey beacons that are placed randomly across the map. His passive ability shows players' recent actions and footsteps on your screen if they happened in the last 90 seconds, and you can ping these notifications to call out enemies nearby without having to talk. Bloodhound's tactical has a cooldown of 25 seconds and a range of 75 meters. In a 125-degree cone in front of you, you can scan the area for enemy players, traps, clues, and loot ticks. All of them are shown to you and your teammates for a short time. It takes 1.8 seconds to use this ability, and if any enemies are nearby, a large indicator will appear with the words "Hostiles Detected." Enemies caught in the scan will have sonar detected appear on their screen, and this also emits a sound that travels with the scan over the 75 meters. Tracking will last 4 seconds and will follow them for the entire duration. Generally speaking, this is very helpful and especially strong in the endgame. Bloodhound's ultimate is a better version of his tactical, but only for him, allowing them to move at 30% faster movement speed. Their vision will go mostly black and white, while footprints and enemies are highlighted in red, and teammates are highlighted in blue. All of this happens for 35 seconds, and the ultimate turns all optics into digital threat optics. This has a cooldown of 3 minutes. If you haven't found out already, then digital threat optics are 2 kinds of optics. There's a 1x digital threat that will go on SMGs and shotguns, as well as pistols such as the Wingman, Mozambique, P2020, and RE45. This optic will highlight enemies in red through gas, smoke, and windows. The 1X in particular is very strong with Bangalore, whose tactical is a smoke grenade that she can launch either at her feet or in front of enemies. The other digital threat optic is a 4 to 10 sniper scope, and this is especially good with also Bangalore if you can smoke out the enemy at range. But remember, I also don't recommend using snipers, especially at range, so it's very situational, and most of the times you're going to want to use this with Bangalore and a 1X. But you will notice that there's no digital threat optic for a 2X or 3X, and this is because assault rifles don't get a digital threat optic, but when you use Bloodhound's ultimate, then you can turn a 2X or 3X into a digital threat optic because his vision will apply even when ADS. If you don't mind the black and white vision, this is a very strong ultimate and the only way to catch up to an Octane using Stim. Next up is Gibraltar, who's a very large fortified legend, which is a passive that makes him take 15% less damage for having such a large hitbox. He also has the same movement speed as every other legend. The difference is the camera shake and how quickly his arms move. This is done to make him feel big and slow, even though he has the same movement speed. The same thing is done to Caustic. Also, being shot will slow Legend's movement speed, but this is not the case for Gibby and Caustic, as getting shot does not reduce their movement speed. So in some ways, they're actually faster than other Legends, they're just also bigger and easier to hit. He has a second passive that happens when he aims down the sight of his gun, and when aimed down sight, he can toggle a gun shield that will cover most of his chest and blocks up to 50 damage. This ability is on a 9-second cooldown, and that cooldown starts when the gun shield is broken. The gun shield will break when it takes 50 damage, but if a shot does more than 50 damage, or even just one more than 50 damage, that one or more damage will be dealt to Gibraltar directly. If you wanted to look at, say, a Kraber shot that would do 145 normally to most Legends, you need to multiply that 145 by 15% damage reduction, or 85% of that 145's total value, and then also subtract 50 damage, and that's how much damage Gibraltar would take from a Kraber shot directly to a full health gun shield. And in case you were wondering, that equates to about 73 damage. Gibraltar can still shoot when the shield is deployed, and this gun shield makes Gibby the most annoying legend to 1v1. His tactical deploys a dome shield that absorbs all damage and deflects grenades. The dome will last 12 seconds and has a 30-second cooldown. You cannot shoot through or out of the dome, and Gibraltar and only Gibraltar revives faster under the dome, resulting in a 4.5-second revive instead of a 6-second revive. His ultimate calls in a concentrated mortar strike for 6 seconds, dealing 40 damage per hit and stunning enemies. Red circles will show where the mortars will hit, and the radius of the strike is 24 meters. The ability is on a 4.5 minute cooldown and is fairly strong. Overall, Gibraltar has the best 1v1 potential in the game and the best 2v1 potential in the game, given how much damage he can take and how much damage he can block off the bat. A key thing to note with Gibraltar is that there's not a lot of strategic moves you can make with him. It's really more about how much damage he can tank and using that gun shield to your advantage. A 9-second cooldown is not that long, and keeping and holding a power position and waiting to peek from cover until you have your gun shield back again is a very strong tactic. Another way that Gibby gets his strength is that weapons that benefit from ADS, like the Peacekeeper and the Mastiff, or even just a sniper, that you have the extra time to line up headshots because you have that gun shield blocking your chest. So as long as your enemy doesn't shoot your head, you have an increased amount of time to stay on target and aim for the head. Next up is Lifeline, who's gone through some pretty big changes, and overall I would consider this a pretty big nerf, but her passive allows her to revive knocked teammates without being forced to stay, and she can walk away to auto-revive up to 2 teammates at the same time. This is strong because Lifeline can continue to fight while the revive happens, and players being revived will be completely defenseless unless they cancel the revive to use their knockdown shield. This ability used to revive only one player and left a shield covering a medium-sized area to protect the knocked player. This ability is not on a cooldown and can be used as often as possible. Her tactical uses a drone to heal you and your teammates within 3 meters of the drone. It can be pushed, but it is generally hard to move, so be careful where you place it. This will heal about 7.5 health per second and up to 150 health that is given evenly to whoever is using the drone. The drone lasts 20 seconds and is on a 45-second cooldown. Additionally, the drone dies in the ring after a couple ticks, so you won't be getting much health from the drone if you place it in ring, but you will get a small amount. Her ultimate is going under a pretty big rework this season, so we'll have to see how it turns out, but her ultimate is a care package that spawns after 15 seconds of being called in. Her care package cannot have any heirloom guns or heirloom gear, but it does use an algorithm based on what you're currently using to guarantee an upgrade in some form or fashion. It is random about what they will give you, but each section of the care package has a certain type of loot that it can give. You are guaranteed a violet level shield, helmet, or knockdown shield. The second compartment can carry anything from syringes to phoenix kits or a mobile respawn beacon. And finally, the last option will have some kind of level 3 weapon attachment or digital threat optic. We'll have to see how this goes, but typically Loba does this ability much better, and frankly I feel like Lifeline has kind of outgrown her ultimate. My ideal Lifeline ultimate is a level 3 body, a level 3 shield, and a mobile respawn beacon, or heat shields before round 3. Pathfinder's up next, and he has 2 passives. One allows him to scan survey beacons like Bloodhound to find the next ring location. The other gives him buffs for doing it. Every time you scan a survey beacon, it will permanently reduce his cooldown by 10 seconds for the rest of the game, and you can do this up to 4 times, making his ultimate go from a 2-minute cooldown to an 80-second cooldown. Scanning a survey beacon will also fully charge his ultimate. His ultimate is an almost indestructible zipline that cannot be destroyed by players or grenades, but it can be destroyed by the environment like the rotating buildings on Olympus. Everyone can use his zipline, and you may only jump on and off the zipline twice. The zipline attaches to almost any surface, has a max length of 100 meters, and can have up to 4 placed. His tactical is a grappling hook that can pull him towards objects or enemies toward him. This works on ziplines as well, and the max length is 21 meters. Use your hipfire reticle at the center of your screen to aim this ability, and you can angle your camera and use your movement stick to swing Pathfinder instead of taking a straight line. Looking more than 90 degrees away will break the hook, and you keep all momentum gained on the pull or the swing. This ability is on a scalable cooldown, taking 10 to 30 seconds depending on certain factors, such as how long you maintain high speed, how far you go, and how high you go. You may also break the zipline manually whenever you want by repressing the button you used to activate it. Pathfinder is barely a mobility legend and can be great, however he's not as good or dependable as he once was, and other true mobility legends are better. His best uses are to get some high ground, catch up to teammates, help teammates catch up to you, or use his grapple to make up for climbing. Continuing on to Wraith. Wraith is a legend that can tell you when an enemy is aiming at you, if there are traps nearby, if there are enemies nearby, or if people have died near you. Should any of those things happen, Wraith will say a voice line at moderate volume, but it is easy to talk over. This ability is useful, but you will need to pay attention to the game audio quite a bit. Her tactical allows her to stop taking damage for 4 seconds, including ring damage, and this ability is on a 25-second cooldown. It takes 1 second for the ability to activate and a quarter of a second for the ability to finish. So you will be vulnerable for the first second and last quarter second when using the ability. She also loses some movement speed when she's about to do it, and then gains movement speed when she is doing it, so it kind of washes. She is very visible in the void, so a bright blue trail will show you where she goes, and an animation plays when she's about to exit. So overall, this ability is useless in combat, but can aid in an escape with moderate success. Wraith cannot use doors, but can use ziplines while in the void. This ability can be paired with her ultimate as well. Once you've started activating the portal itself and you've placed the start position, while on your way to the end position, you can use her tactical to avoid damage. Her ultimate is a portal that she places from her current location to the desired location with a range of about 75 meters. If you're going downhill, you can slide to get extra range out of the portal. This is on a 3.5 minute cooldown, and only players can enter the portal. Bullets, grenades, and abilities will not travel through, and you will travel at 5 times the normal speed inside. You must enter and exit at the locations placed by Wraith. Now, just because bullets and grenades do not go through the portal does not mean that the portal stops bullets and grenades. If someone is standing behind a portal, you still can shoot them through it. The bullets just won't travel the distance through the portal. They will pass right through like it's not there. Should you activate her ultimate accidentally, the ability can be cancelled by placing the portal quickly after activating the ability. She will keep all of the ultimate charge if done correctly. You just have to place the end gate of the portal as fast as possible. Wraith can only run, jump, and interact with the map when placing her portal. The portal will last for 60 seconds and anyone can use them. When both the entrance and exit are placed outside the play area, the portal will only last for 4 seconds. Once the rift energy reaches 0%, the exit will be placed automatically. The entrance and exit are directional. It is not possible to turn around inside the portal, so carefully placing the entrance and exit at doorways can block the entrance of a building for players. Grenades and abilities will still make it inside. The last freed legend is Bangalore, and it's who I'll be maining this season. Bangalore has a passive that activates when she's shot or almost shot. It also includes grenade damage, so it'll grant 30% faster movement speed for 2 seconds, and there is no cooldown. Her tactical is a smoke grenade that can be launched very far and has 2 charges. There's a small delay, but this can be rapid fired. Each smoke takes 33 seconds to recharge, and the smoke takes 23 seconds to disappear. It will deal 10 damage to enemies if they get caught in the initial blast, and you can melee to cancel the smoke. Her ultimate is an artillery strike that is on a 3-minute cooldown. It takes 6 seconds for the missiles to land and 6 seconds for them to explode. They land in a 6x6 pattern and reach 70 meters past the flare, which can be thrown about 30 meters. The missiles explode row by row from the flare to the farthest row, allowing your team to run with the explosion towards the enemy. Each missile does 40 damage and will stun enemies for a very long time. It will stun your teammates too, so don't get caught in the blast. You will also be damaged by your own ultimate, but your teammates are safe. And that is all the free legends. I recommend using these legends until you can unlock other legends for free from time you play on the game. I recommend Octane, Horizon, and likely Valk, but we'll have to see how she turns out. That's going to do it for this video. As always, I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a like so you can find this video easier in the future, and follow us on Twitch to watch us live.